you developed a really unique approach to unlocking the body's innate intelligence and harnessing its power for healing and growth.
Our body is the most important thing. We like to stay grounded to do, fulfill our mission in life. And I say everyone's got the same purpose. Our purpose in life is to love ourselves and love the skin we're in. And we want to get to the negative cellular memory to release that energy to flow through the body. And you can just tell by the body shape. And of course, our bone structure is the blueprint of our soul.
How does the body and its form, is it that the cellular memory helps to form that? Like, how does that happen? So how does that all work?
Before we get started, folks, make sure you hit the pause button. Okay, go down below. There's a Rumble link. Go over to Rumble and follow us over there. QFS1776.com is, without question, the holy grail of what's to come. Okay, T-shirts. You got to get yourself decorated. This way people will ask you, what is XRP? What is the quantum financial system? What is this? What is that? And you send them where? To QFS1776.com, where they need to immerse themselves, because we're going to burn down this system down to the ground. And out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. There'll be nothing to go back to. Believe me when I tell you that. Also, our Telegram groups down below. If you want to learn what's coming and you're sort of a little scared, I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at QFS1776@gmail, and we'll get you as much as you want. Gold and silver. Welcome to CarminesGold.com. Don't waste not even a second looking. Cheaper prices just don't exist. How important is it for you to own gold and silver right now? What does it mean to me personally? There's an economy that's about to crash beyond what words can explain. In 5 words, I'm going to educate you on gold and silver. Are you ready? You need to own some. Simple.
Hi, Elisa V here. Did you know that medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, accounting for 66.5% of bankruptcies? In fact, in 2022, 17% of adults with healthcare debt either declared bankruptcy or lost their homes due to it. We can all agree that the healthcare system is broken. Well, there is an alternative that I want to tell you about. It is Impact Health Sharing, which Yahoo News is calling the disruptor in the $4.6 trillion healthcare system. With Impact Health Sharing, you can choose the doctors, clinics, and naturopaths that you want with less restrictive guidelines. Medical bills are reduced to their fair market value, and premiums are 30 to 72% cheaper than competitors. Plus, Impact Health incentivizes healthy habits like supplements, gym visits, and therapy. Call 844-275-1056 and use the code Mel Carmine for a free quote today. Hello and good day, everyone, and welcome to the Mel Carmine Show. My name's Elisa V, Queen of High Vibe, from my show, The High Vibe Show. And today we are going to dive deep into a very interesting topic about the body. But before we do, with our special guest, I want to just remind everyone that we've got the Quantum Summit coming up. It's going to be taking place in Cape Canaveral on March 8th and 9th, and you're going to want to secure tickets. The tickets are going fast. We are anticipating such a wonderful group of people that are going to be there, people that are coming from all areas of governance, talking about science, health, spirituality, and we're going to have many panels with these folks talking about all kinds of subjects. You don't want to miss this. We're also going to be going into things like, we're going to have collaborators that talk about the envisioned Trump RFK administration and the initiatives that are aimed at revitalizing America's health and agriculture by restoring essential trace minerals to the soils. The seating is limited. We're only going to be accepting 917 attendees, and sales for the tickets are going to cease to be on sale 2 weeks before. So please visit quantumsummit1776.com, get your tickets, and join us for what promises to be an amazing event. Now, without further delay, let me begin the conversation. I'm thrilled to introduce our guest today, Carole Maureen Friesen. And welcome, Carole.
Hey, hello, hello. Yeah, well, Mel promised it's going to be a celebration
Yeah.
in March. So, I mean, just with the like Trump always says, we're going to get sick of winning, and you just won the electoral college. So, yeah, one more step done,
Yeah.
and yeah, well, I'm Canadian too, so we'll be the 51st state, and I think most of Canada really wants to join the United States. So there's something to it. I don't know what Trump's up to, but as we just got the news too, is Greenland wants to separate from Denmark.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe the Panama Canal will be in there too, which I'll be very close to because I'm in Costa Rica. So I think that's what drew me to Mel too, because the first time I saw him in that big turquoise chair, and I says, "Wow, he's from Costa Rica,"
Yeah.
Escazú. So yeah, he said he lived there 11 years. So I've been in Costa Rica 7 years, and I have heaven and earth sanctuary. So I have 10 acres along Rio Chirripo, and it's the highest mountain in Costa Rica. So if you climb it, you can see the Pacific coast and Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic
Oh,
Ocean.
wow.
So the Chirripo means eternal waters, and it's actually like a bridge. There's Rio Chirripo Pacifica and Rio Chirripo Caribbean. And so it's like the two fresh waters are connecting two salt waters. And it's like a bridge, a vortex that light workers, get kind of drawn to this area. And it's also, if you draw straight through Costa Rica, it connects the Bermuda Triangle ley line with Easter Islands. So it's a Jupiter ley line. So, because I do cosmology also, so the Mayan astrology,
Yeah.
and so it's called a Jupiter ley line on the planetary holon, and it's circuit number 5, and 5 in numerology, because I also teach psychosomatic numerology, our destiny numbers, and 5 is the sacral chakra. And that's where we're out of balance on the planet in our sexual and sensual orientation, all the transgender and, sex trafficking. That's
Yeah.
all out of balance that we need to bring back into alignment as we go through this shift. Yeah, so it's nothing,
It's such
everything.
an exciting time, right? There's so much happening. I wasn't aware that that area was a vortex also. I'm familiar more with the vortices, I guess you'd say, plural, in Sedona and Arizona in the United States. Like those I'm more familiar with, but that's fascinating. I didn't know that about where you are. And I want to just give kind of a little overview to our viewers just about you, just a little bit. You know, Carole is the visionary founder of the Lightworkers Institute, which is an internationally recognized authority on sacral body language and the body-mind connection. And with over 2 decades of experience as a teacher, mentor, and practitioner, Carole has helped thousands of individuals transform their lives by mastering the art of nonverbal communication and aligning their physical, emotional, and spiritual selves. I just want to jump in.
Yeah,
You developed a really unique approach to unlocking the body's innate intelligence and harnessing its power for healing and growth. We had such an amazing conversation off camera a couple of weeks
yeah.
ago, and it could have been a show because we just touched on everything. So I just wanted to be really organic as well today and just tell everyone educate them a little bit about what you do, what the Lightworkers Institute is all about, and why your work is just so important today.
Well, I mean, of course, our body is the most important thing, like to stay grounded, to do, fulfill our mission in life. And I say everyone's got the same purpose. Our purpose in life is to love ourselves and love the skin we're in. And then we can move forward. And it's psychosomatic therapy means the psyche or the soul's consciousness living in the flesh. And a lot of people live in their heads. They're barely, listen to their bodies, and it's the base to all intuition and our gifts, which are clairvoyancy, clairaudio, clairsentient, and claircognizance. You got to be in your body and listen to the feelings. And a lot of people have trapped the feelings from the past are trapped and stored in the body. The body never lies. The body has everything recorded in cellular memory. And we want to get to the negative cellular memory to release that energy to flow through the body. And you can just tell by the body shape. And of course, our bone structure is the blueprint of our soul.
That's
And
amazing to me. When you told me that on the phone, on Zoom last time when we were talking, like I still have trouble wrapping my hands like how does the body and its form, is it that the cellular memory helps to form that? Like how does that happen? Because you were telling me some pretty cool things about just looking at my bone structure. So how does that all work?
well, that's the densest form of our in the material world is the bone structure. It's like the chassis of a car or the blueprint of a house, the 2x4s. And then it's the furnishings that, or the interior of the car that you can add on different things, right? But everyone, comes in as a baby, comes in with a certain bone structure. And what's affected by it is definitely our gene pool, first and foremost, what characteristics we're picking up from our parents.
Okay.
But then it's also our environment that we grow up in is a big effect on it, and our belief systems and our life experiences. I mean, if you've been sexually abused, it shows in the body because the body will protect itself. It'll bury the feelings deep inside
Hmm.
and or put on, lots of tissue, lots of issues. Very little tissue on the body, there's nobody home. If you ever hug someone that's skin and bones, you can't feel them. There's no consciousness in the flesh because they're either keep their head above water or we say their head is in the clouds. They're airy fairy and they're too much in the spiritual realm. You'll see a lot of that in people doing spiritual bypassing. They don't want to know anything that's going on in the third dimension here, or density, I should call it. But, like uh, our tissue, I mean, okay, I'll backtrack a bit and
Yeah.
explain. All of this work is based in esoteric and tantric sciences. So, in the chakra system, how energy flows in the body. And most of our growing up years, like very young years, it's like a sapling tree. It grows from the ground up, but so does a body, right? And someone that's got, let's say, very, very heavy calves, they've been standing their ground and didn't want to conform right from 2 and 3 years old and be told what to do. So just because there's a lot of angst or the calves are really hard and thick, and then it grows from there. And the thighs are more the teenage years, what was happening in the teenage years. And then as we grow, right, it's the first, it's repeated patterns that happen in our life. And that's what we want to look at. How is the body recording it and how can you release it? Now, if we don't change bone structure, but we can change the flesh on the bone structure.
Okay.
And especially, we say the body is the subconscious mind. And we want to, in order to release that, we need to connect it with the conscious mind. So if something happened in our younger years, when you see where we've stored it in the body, then the body can say, oh, finally she gets it. So then the muscle releases, because muscles are messengers. And if there's a tight muscle underneath, it's not letting an issue go. And when it lets go, then the body can reform itself in the tissue.
So, and
So
when you
it's,
say release, that means that you're acknowledging something that's there. Is that, I mean, how does that happen? It's doing a little deep work and allowing whatever you're feeling to just be free and release itself. Is that how you would do that?
well, it's
Is
like a
it
big
physical
uh-huh.
manipulation?
Yeah, it's a big uh-huh, right?
Okay.
And as you process someone through this, it can release, right? I've seen people's nose shift right in front of me. Their nose was quite crooked and it straightened right out when she realized it was solar plexus. I was working on something on the stomach and she released that energy in the stomach and the nose changed. So, I mean, there's
Wow.
things can shift, right? That those are big shifts, uh-huhs. It's like when I took this course back in the year 2000 is when I took it, so 25 years ago. There was something happened in my childhood. I was aware of it, but I didn't know how I had stored it. So it was like we were doing, the body mind analysis where, you get an 8-page report about your own body and someone's reading you. And of course, the teacher, my teacher, Hermann Muller, who's the founder of the college out of Australia, it's the Psychosomatic Therapy College. And I worked with him for 14 years after I took the course. I actually promoted him in Canada and the United States. Anyways, it came down to I had to write a report about the other person, and I could not. I froze. And you know how that inside, I'm going to be exposed. I couldn't write a thing on that piece of paper. And then you had to get up and read it in front of the group to your partner, right? What I saw on her body. And uh, I couldn't write anything, and it got closer and closer to our turn to get up. We were the last ones to read because I had nothing on my paper,
Oh.
and it was like, I was gonna, how you start to almost cry, but you hold it back and hold it back, and it was like all of a sudden it was just like that, and it was like thousands of rubber bands cutting inside of me. And I went whirling back to something that happened in grade 2. I was wrongfully accused of cheating in a spelling test, and I got a strap for it, right on the solar plexus, right? And that humiliation and everything. And since then, I hated English, and yet I would get 90s and 100s in biology and geography, things that I enjoyed, but 50 are in English. And so that affected me my whole life. I mean, like during my growing up years for sure.
Sure.
And I became a tomboy, put on weight, and the class clown, and just to hide something that I didn't like about myself. And then I owned a bistro and blues bar for 14 years in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. And not once would I take my stage or even run a staff meeting because I was terrified of public speaking.
Mm.
And when that came whirling out of me, it was like thousands and thousands of rubber bands cutting inside of me. And I poured in sweat and I cried out 42 years of pent up anger, resentment, shame, guilt, everything I was ashamed of. And that's what came forward. So my body released that experience. And guess what? You can't get me off a stage now. I love public
Wow.
speaking.
And then
And
did
I
you
could,
notice like physical changes that occurred after that release?
oh, yeah, but that continued for another year. I would lie
Wow.
down and all of a sudden there would be twitches in my body, like things releasing, releasing, releasing. And the deeper I went into the work, the more I released in the muscle system. And so, you can change your life drastically if you connect to things that happened way back. And I mean, most of our experience is in the first 20 some years, and then patterns seem to repeat themselves. So
Yeah.
unless you change, and the change has to come from within, and we've been hearing about that for 5 years now, go within, go within, go
Yeah.
within, your inner world creates your outer world. And that's where I've seen thousands of students come through and their lives completely change after they come in. My trainings is for self-development first and foremost, and then people can become a practitioner. But what I teach then is face reading, the bone structure of the face,
Okay.
and hairline, forehead, what foreheads mean, eyebrows, eyes, color of eyes. It all means something. And someone with really dark brown, black, almost black eyes, they're great Latina lovers, right? Yet someone with warm brown eyes is more like a Jersey cow, that's more about feelings, and they have feelings of compassion, where blue eyes are more a compassionate way of thinking, like the blue sky, right? And the warmer the blue, the warmer the feelings, until it can go the opposite, like cool and calculating blue eyes,
Hmm.
almost like a husky dog that has ice blue eyes. And that's more cool and calculating. So green eyes is courage. And
Really?
yeah, hazel eyes is a warm intellect. So because we see the world through our solar plexus, through our eyes, like the five senses. We've got base chakra is earth, is the element, and the out of the five senses, it's smell. Smell is the basics of all, animals. It's our animal instincts, primordial life force is they go through scent, right?
Yes.
And the sacral chakra, which is the genital area in the body, but it's the lips.
Okay.
And lips is the labia, and
Okay.
the tongue is the penis,
Okay.
and the skin that hangs here. Some people got a lot of skin that hangs in the middle. That's the clitoris. So we say titillate, and you can actually start the juices, our sexual energy can start to flow. That's why when you're kissing is actually more intimate than intercourse.
Yeah. Yeah, I could
Yeah,
see that. Yeah, of
yeah.
course. So here,
And
yeah.
so, yeah, and then the nose is the solar plexus, but it's this is taste, water
Okay.
element, and the senses taste. This is solar plex, which is fire, how we cook our food in our solar
Hmm.
plexus. It's solar plexus, and that is the out of the five senses, it is the sight, because we see through our life experiences. And we say you got your rose-colored glasses on, right? And how we see the world is a lot of people think it's the eyes, but the eyes are the heart chakra, and it is touch and or air, and we touch from our center point, like our hands are an extension of our heart. How we uh, receive and transmit energy through touch. And so, and then third eye, or sorry, throat is sound, and it's ether. And then third eye and crown, which is atomic and subatomic, subatomic and atomic. But
And
no, their third eye is your ESP, extra sensory perceptions.
and
So
when
yeah,
you read people, you're reading the face chakras. Is that a way to kind of say
yeah.
it and how that's interpreted? So I have a question. When you say that there's things that the body holds on to, right? It's held within the body. Are we talking only about this lifetime, or can this be, from past lifetimes that we're holding? Because, I know like Dr. Brian Weiss has done a lot with, regression and bringing people back to
Mhm.
past lives. And in the realm of, psychiatry, he's been able to have them sort of release a memory or something that happened. Is that the same thing that is part of your area of expertise, like that where we're holding things, it may not necessarily be from this lifetime?
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. At the same time, my teacher used to always, why do we want to have all those past lives when everything has happened, there's enough happening in this lifetime. But in a past life, maybe it was you got shot in the back with an arrow.
Yeah.
And in this lifetime, we don't do that anymore. It would be more like someone's talking behind your back.
Oh, okay.
And it feels like someone stabs you in the back. And yeah, it can be tension from the past. And if it's the right side, it would be a male energy that might be, like our issues with the father. And the right side or left side would be mother, it's the divine feminine side. So we actually split when we do trainings, I take a picture of a person right on. And actually, I just did a whole one on Trump 2 shows ago on my channel on the
Really?
Lightworkers Institute. Yeah, I did Trump. I did his hands. I actually found a picture of his feet. I mean, I've done this a couple of years ago, but I redid it in an updated version 2 weeks ago, just right before Christmas. And yeah, he, I've got his face split and what it means, and also like little bits. I mean, it's not a full, complete reading, but I found his hands and his feet. I didn't do a body reading, but then I also did his numerology and his galactic signature blueprint and Melania's their relationship. And
Yeah.
I did a little bit on Melania too, and also on her dresses, like she's the flagpole, right?
Yes. Yes.
Symmetry. Is that
Yes.
what symmetry? The language of symmetry,
Yeah.
the language of the flags.
The
And
flags, yes.
he
They
dresses
used
her up.
her, yeah, for those kind of messages throughout his first administration and thereafter. So tell me a little bit without, I know you did a video on this, but just I'm sure now you piqued the interest of people watching. So they're like, well, what is it? Or can you just give like a little insight into what, just let's focus on the face, right? On Trump's face, like what you kind of came up with?
Well, his oh sheesh. You're putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, but you said that and that was
Face, yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, well, his blue eyes definitely is a compassionate way of thinking. What I really focused on was his nose. That's what
Okay.
I was, because people say he's got a huge ego. He really doesn't, because his nose is quite small compared to the rest of the face. And I'm trying to think, it was one side was quite a bit smaller than the other. And I think it's because of his comb over too, right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard. You have to get the face right on, like the ears have to be positioned just right. And to find pictures of someone straight on is sometimes very, very hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do a screenshot and capture it. But he's got quite a small nose. Someone with a big hook nose and stuff, that would be more, that's especially if the bridge, if they don't have an indent in here, then the mind or the brain and the ego are in cahoots. They'll leave the heart behind, push it back here, because they don't see eye to eye necessarily. It might take a long time. Sorry, my homemade band-aids. I
Oh, that's
only
so
use
interesting. Now I'm
yeah.
thinking, and I'm sure I'm better audience is thinking too, like, who do I know with a hook note? You know what I mean? Like you start to think about these features, and it's very funny, because I know someone who has that feature, and it's exactly what you're describing. That's pretty fascinating.
Well, noses are really interesting, and that's my prominent feature is my nose. And it's if someone's really pointed at the end, then
Yeah.
they want everything to the point, or they stick their nose in people's business. But a bulbous nose, like with the ball at the end, yours got quite a ball at the end too. It just means very loyal and very honest by nature. And I would buy a used car from you any day because you'd tell me everything that was wrong with it.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's different ways, to use the readings. I get a lot of realtors have come through our training, especially in face reading, is because everyone can learn to read a face in a day. It's very easy. Structure equals performance. Either you're a Mack truck or you're a Ferrari, and Ferraris are very sensitive. You don't take your Ferrari 4x4ing.
Right.
So, you don't lock it in the garage. You learn to drive it, and that's they're learning strength through sensitivity, where I'm got a very square jaw, and I very strong. So I'm learning sensitivity through strength. So it's just, there's no right or wrong way. Just learn
Right,
to
right.
drive what you got, right?
Yeah.
And it's in our, it's in the sort of a German background, it's even races have different characteristics. I used to read thousands of faces at expos, and in Vancouver, there would be like 10 Chinese families, people lined up to get their face read, and I had to almost tell them the same thing, each one,
Really?
because slanted eyes, it's very critiquing. It doesn't mean necessarily criticism, but critiquing,
Mm-hmm.
because they're looking down, they've got a slope in the eyes. And um, yeah, I mean, there's just so much. And then their hair is
Fascinating.
very coarse, and they're very much in the mind, coming from the mind, not so much feelings, right? And they're usually on the thinner side. So they live in their head a lot. And that's why they're so technically advanced than even us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So even races have different characteristics. I mean, look at the Black community. I mean, look at the huge lips on them, It's a lot of sexual energy, right?
Yeah.
They say once Black, never go back, it's well, and they'll have very, large buttocks. That's a lot of sexual energy. And then if there's a kink in the spine, then they're busting their back to please other people.
Hmm.
So you can change through the training, we do a lot of readjusting how we're using the mechanics of the body, and standing differently, walking differently. So it's balanced on either side. A lot of people, they can have, maybe the right foot might be straight ahead, but then they're walking with the left foot out. That means that they're losing their purpose, because the left side is purpose and the right side is direction. So if both are out, then the left and right brain are splitting apart. They're not working together, because our body is a biofeedback of what's happening in the left and right brain functions.
Wow. So basically it's like this idea of mind, body, and spirit, right? Being together and holistic. It is, like scientifically from what you're saying, we our body responds to our emotions respond to the way our body is. Like it's so fascinating. So if you with somebody who is really interested in, or is being kind of enlightened with this conversation, right? How do you figure out, or what would be the first step in trying to figure out how to bring balance or to discover that maybe you're out of balance? And I know it's a loaded question, but just, basically, how would you be able to tell, gee, I probably could use a little more balance, or maybe I'm holding something in that I haven't really dealt with that's affecting me?
Well, it can show right on the face. I mean, if you look in the mirror and the face isn't symmetrical, it then you can tell one side is out versus the other. So Trump, I think it was his left side, no, his right side of his face was smaller than his left side. Left side was quite a bit bigger.
Yeah.
It just means his soul has a lot more to put out into the world than what he's done. So, and he is the navigator. He's navigating us through the fourth dimension, through what we call the fallen angels. This density that we're going through right now to get to the other side. And what he wants to achieve in this lifetime is navigate us through this. And then, I mean, he's fulfilling his purpose, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he also has the wizard in his first dimension, and which is a wizard, and he's also got the blue monkey as his higher self, and the blue monkey is the magician. So he always says, I got a magic wand. I got a magic wand.
So what
And
exactly does that mean? The wizard and the monkey? Like where are you getting that from, or where does that come from?
oh, that's Mayan astrology. So
Okay.
it's yeah, so it's cosmology. There's 20 seals and 13 tones, which is 260 different types. And he's a blue electric uh, blue electric hand, which is the avatar. And so there's 5 seals on each one. Like I'm a red serpent, and we're in the year of the serpent now, so the year of the snake. So serpent is all about the kundalini of Mother Earth, and sexual and sensual energy. And before I even knew my galactic signature, I named all my courses like orgasmic bedroom yoga, or uh, it's all, like the body has everything, and through the chakra system and the kundalini. So vagina breathing. So we want to pull the energy up through the body, not push it down into the belly. We don't have lungs in our belly. And I think in 2012, when the Mayan calendar flipped or ended and started over, that's really the Eastern philosophies kind of went. We had done that already, the mental end of it, and that's when shamanism started really coming up, and plant medicines really started. Started to hear a lot more about the plant medicine. So I believe that's the divine feminine, because it's all coming from Mother Earth. That's why we need to get rid of the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
I'm not get rid of it, but it needs to be definitely put at bay for sure. So so I mean, these are things that there's so much, and so the most important is the physical body. The most spiritual thing you can do is get inside your own body, get in the driver's seat, and consciously breathe, consciously walk, consciously like watch, observe our own thoughts, even because our thoughts become reality. They told us a long time ago that wasn't true, but yes, it is true.
Yeah.
What we focus on expands, and that's why, like, when I did, what did I do? Just did the Liberty Summit with Louis Herms and Robert. And what I talked about was most like we all need to just start. Yes, be very aware what's going on in the deep state, but then be very aware of how we're going to focus in the future and bring our ideas together and walk that line together. And I think a lot of times in the truth community, there was a little bit of splitting apart,
Yes.
a
Yeah,
little
of
bit of
course.
infighting.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to bring us all back together. Is just that we resonate different with different people, right? And that rings true for me, certain speakers, and so it's just like, there's many healing modalities too, and what resonates. And I mean, before I even took psychosomatic therapy, I became a Bach flower remedy consultant. So I've got like over 100 different flower essences, which works on the causal body, right? It's the emotional body way out there. And
Okay.
yet the physical body, psychosomatic therapy, understand your own body, be able to read the messages from your own body, like this. Why did I cut my finger, right? And uh, the reason it's kind of a rag is I mean, it's a big cut.
Oh boy.
Uh, yeah, but I buy 100% linen. I only wear linen clothing. That's it, because it vibrates at 5,000 megahertz. Where cotton and hemps, they vibrate about 100. They're not healing
Okay.
fabrics. And polyesters, rayons, they're actually about 15. They
Wow.
vibrate. So it's dead. It's lower than death. Death runs around 20 megahertz or something.
Really?
Yeah, it's like putting on a black garbage bag. I've gotten rid of all my clothes just
It's
because.
amazing how they have just, right? If you look at what's been done, I mean, every aspect, whether it's our body, our mind, it's
Yeah.
just been polluted in some way to denigrate it, right? And these things are so important, it's for people to
Well,
understand.
cotton and hemp are good too, but they're and also bamboo, but they're
Okay.
not the healing fabrics. Linen,
Linen.
100%. And that's why in the way back when, in the way back machine, the all the hospitals only had 100% linen, because you could boil linen, and it's made out of flax, and flax is connected to the element of silica. So it's like a crystal, and it's it opens up the portals to the energy field. So our energy field can expand. Linen does the same. I mean, not linen, wool, 100% wool, but you can't wear the two together because linen vibrates from, I might get this wrong, left to right, and wool vibrates from right to left. One's warming, one's cooling. So, and if you wear it together, it's 0 point.
Oh, wow. So when
So,
you say flax, you're talking about flax seeds, like
yeah,
that.
it's made out of flax. The grain, right? Not the
Grain,
grain,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
the
the seed.
shaft, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll buy old, like I can comb secondhand stores, and they're all designer clothing too.
Yeah.
And
It's very popular up here.
yeah,
My kids, they call it thrifting. So they go to all the secondhand stores.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I can pick out linen anywhere. I'm just a linen magnet, right?
Yeah.
And it went away because you have to iron it, right? Or you don't
Yes,
have,
it's you
but
have to maintain it if you want it to look pristine.
I love ironing, so it looks great. Everyone always says, "How can you look so fresh and so clean?" I said, "100% linen."
Yeah.
But I'll take one that maybe I worn out or whatever. So I cut it into band-aids, and that's what, because they, in the Wayback Machine, they only used linen for band-aids too, because it's a healing fabric, because it
Wow.
breathes. You put
Wow.
plastic band-aid on, it's not breathing, it's moisture underneath.
Yeah.
So this allows it to breathe, and you heal a lot faster. That's why all the hospitals, they all had linen sheets. I bought linen sheets. I had them shipped to Costa Rica here because, I mean, the linen sheets, you sleep differently even.
I bet.
So, yeah. So, I mean, there's
Interesting.
so much a person can do and educate themselves on that's fairly inexpensive. I mean, I say I wear, if you buy it in secondhand stores, I wear $6 dresses and $120 earrings, crystal earrings. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's and people see you differently because your aura is different, the energy field around us. So that's what I was getting at. It was like the physical body, psychosomatic therapy. Then
Yeah.
the next, you can also, I mean, in healing, the next one up would be uh, essential oils, definitely, in the next layer of energy. Homeopathy would be the next level up. And then flower essence is the highest because it works on the causal body. So it works on the soul level. And people have, that's why even, the ambulances in Europe, they carry like Bach flower rescue remedy. Most everyone's heard of rescue remedy. And they don't have to get, someone's been in a car accident. They don't have to get approval to administer the Bach flower remedies because they can just put it on the skin. So they're
Oh,
not putting it in the mouth or anything, just on the skin. And it starts to calm the body down. And I say everyone should be on rescue remedy right now from the last 4 years. And now we're going into this stupid bird flu.
yeah.
And this, I mean, we're all living PTSD or whatever it's called. Like,
100%. There's no
yeah.
question about that. Um, wow, it just always amazes me, like I'm very naturopathic in as much as I, can be, and every day I learn something new, like today. So you try to incorporate that, and it makes it so much more obvious about how people don't understand. Then you walk around and you see people and you see what they're buying at the supermarket, or you see what they're wearing, and like there's just so much healing that needs to happen.
Now
And
you're going to be seeing how they walk,
now I'm gonna notice that. So I want to
like a
ask one.
duck.
We're getting towards the end here, but I want to ask you one more question. You mentioned a few times this idea of galactic footprint. Is that how you expressed it? A
Uh,
galactic
signature blueprint.
signature
Yeah.
blueprint. Okay, sorry about that. What is that? And where does it come from? Like you mentioned, you looked at it with Trump, and I find just the words fascinating. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, here again, it's also connected to the body because there's 10 toes, 10 toes, 10 fingers.
Okay.
And then 13 joints. So that's the 20 seals and the 13 tones. Now that was made very famous from Julio Aguilius, and it's very much using archetypes, and it's very much activating the right brain function,
Okay.
where anyone that has done human design is very left brain. It's very robotic, very circuits, and so that's very analytical left brain function, where right brain function is creativity. So we can step into, we're all making up a fairy tale. Why not just make up a good one? And I mean, when I look at Trump, I mean, it's just so obvious what he's doing. And the numbers are like, he's the seventh seal, and he's all about sevens. 777, that's the casino. And he is, his galactic signature is the 107th. So 107, 107.
Oh, wow.
I know. And then the wizard is, and his fourth dimensional self, I said, was the red earth, which is the navigator.
Okay. Oh, wow.
That number, that seal is number 17. So he's taking us through 17, which is the Q, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can't make this up. I mean,
No.
it's just, when I look even at his numbers, he's a 314 in his numerology, his destiny numbers, and 3 is throat chakra, expression and sensitivity. 1 is crown chakra, creativity and confidence. And his soul number is 4, which is the red ray of active intelligence. And active intelligence is it's all about business, money, and family, stability. It's the base chakra is 4. So that's definitely what he's doing. And it's funny because Don Jr. is also a 314, and Baron is a 134. So, and then Melania is a 2911. Well, she's the queen. She's got 2 crowns, 2 crown chakras. The
Really?
11, 1 times 2. And well, she is, isn't she? Like isn't she a Romanov?
That's what we've been told, right?
Yeah. And, if I showed it in my last show, there was where were they in, I think China or Korea, North Korea or somewhere. There's a picture of her with all these Asians. She is beside the leader, and then there's Trump, but she was in the power position. And that's what we are shifting, is to the divine feminine. It happens
yeah.
every 26,000 years.
Yes.
And it really not about sex, gender specific. It just means to those energies of compassion, kindness, understanding. We're moving more into that than the masculine energy,
Yes.
which we need both. But the divine feminine has sort of been swept under the rug, whether it's
we need to come
more,
back to that balance, right? That's really what it's all about. Yeah.
and within each and every one of us. Sorry, there's a truck went by. Yeah, we have to find that within ourselves, because we're very strong too. I mean, a lot of women went into the corporate world and tied their hair up and wore black and put on a briefcase.
Yeah.
Right. And we need to come back more into our own elegance and flow and beauty and art. And, time is an art form. How we use our time is an art form, and how we use our time on this planet is an art form. And there's a lot of ways. I mean, there's astrology. I tell people to make up a whole book about yourself. Put your astrology readings in, your numerology, your what are they called? Gene keys. All the different types of readings that they're like breadcrumbs to show us a way. And then, I mean, definitely with the body can tell us everything. I mean, Trump's second toe is way longer than his first toe, his big toe. So it tells me that he's very intuitive, but he's also very, emotions are more, he trusts his emotions more than his thoughts. And so it's also, he likes to be controlling in relationships. And Melania's toes too. I found a picture of her feet, and her second toe is quite a bit longer than the first also.
How
So,
would you
I
find a
mean,
picture of their feet? I find that in and of itself pretty interesting.
I only one. I think he was getting a pedicure somewhere or something. And because I talked to, I don't know, maybe Tom Numbers. I was talking to Tom
Okay.
Numbers from England. He said, "Oh, I remember that picture of Trump's feet." I says, "You don't see too many of those." Where Melania, I mean, she's in open toe shoes, right?
Sure. It's a little
And
easier.
I don't think Trump's ever been on a beach, even. He'd probably get sand in his feet or something. Yucky, yucky like that. Anyways, yeah, it's such an interesting character, though. I knew nothing about Trump before this all came down, when the whole whatever you call it, COVID hit,
Yeah.
bullshit. And then I said, who is this guy Trump? Because I haven't had a TV for 20 some years, right? And so, I mean, I knew the name and the brand, but who is the character, right? So
Right.
I'd never watched
The
Apprenticed or
Apprentice.
anything.
Yeah.
So I started studying him, and then all of a sudden, I love this character. What a great, I love his, because I'm very sarcastic, and I have a I get his sense of humor for
Yeah.
sure. And so,
And
we get him.
that's part of the problem, if you will, because having grown up in Queens and New York, there's a certain sarcasm and wit that comes with that. And, a lot of people can't always relate to that, and but if you are that
Yeah,
type of person like I am,
a New
you
Yorker.
think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
You think it's brilliant and you get it and it feels very real and down to earth. So when people tell us a little bit about how people get in touch with you, and then what is it like? I know your website is chock full of a lot of information and different courses that you have. You have the courses where you do in person, right?
Yeah.
They can
Live
come
events.
down. Yep. Or there's also some online,
That's
right?
14
So,
days. They learn this is the manual
wow.
that, yeah. And in 14 days, we go through and you learn everything, how to read a body, all the body shapes, what they mean emotionally. And like I say, I had the honor of working with the founder of the Institute out of Australia. There
Oh,
he is.
wow.
Yeah, he looks like a guru.
Yeah.
Nicest man you ever met. The first time I saw him back in 2000, I went to an information evening, and as soon as he looked at someone, he could read right through that person. And I said, whatever that man could do, I'm going to learn. And I signed up for
Really?
the whole course, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever done to learn about myself. And then it's a lifetime of work then, because now you're connected to the body and it has messages all the time, right?
Of course.
This is kind of like self-pride, is this top digit. So everything about the hands, I mean, this is base, sacral, solar plex, heart, throat, third eye, and this is the crown chakra of the hand, and same as the feet. So the toes are the first three, or the heel is inside of the heel is base, outside is sacral. And if you can't get pregnant or you're having menstrual problems, you can just really massage this part of the body, this part of the hand, and also the outside of the feet. And if people
Really?
can get pregnant, then often it releases an energy. The arch is the solar plex, and the pad of the foot is the heart, and then the neck of the toe is throat. The pad of the toe is the third eye, and the very tip of the toe, because it's flat. So all our chakras are touching the earth by walking barefoot on the earth.
Yes.
And, we're the two-legged ones. So our chakras are lined up this way, right? So, yeah, I mean, this is you can tell everything about a person by their feet. And often, uh, what you see in one, because we're a holographic universe, usually what is happening in one part of the body, I can see it in other areas. I can point it out in the feet or the hands. Some of the issues, if they didn't get enough pats on the back, often the tops of the foot are quite hollow. The top of the foot, because that's behind us. The pad of the bottom of the foot is the front of our body, and the back of the foot is our back. So if they didn't get enough acknowledgement between, on the heart chakra, in the back here, it can be hollow between the shoulder blades. And so they didn't get enough acknowledgement. So they feel lacking, or small breasts means, very small breasts means, and caved in chest could mean not feeling loved even from their mother's womb. And when they get that acknowledgement, holy shit, I felt like that all my life, right?
Yeah.
And then, they can release the energy or that feeling behind it, they, in The Secret, they never told us the secret in The Secret. The secret isn't our thoughts, it's more our feelings. So we have to connect more with our magnetic field. We're an electromagnetic being, and feelings are magnetic. That's how you draw something to you, is through feelings. Where our thoughts are electrical. I mean, they're just zip around there a million miles an hour, right? Where feelings are much slower and the body is much slower. So we want to increase, the more you get in your body, the more you increase your magnetic field. Then you'll all be living in Costa Rica, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
On
wow.
eternal waters, eternal waters. We're also the center of the medicine wheel. I have 54 slides on why Costa Rica, and it's all from a spiritual point of view. The quantum computers were placed above here back in the 90s, and then connected with Houston, Dallas, Calgary, Alberta, and then down into Palmasur, Begatog, I think it's Brazil? No, Chile. One of the countries. Anyways, it
Oh, wow.
connects the Merkabas, right? They were placed here early 90s by a group of people. So who knows? Who knows? There's a lot to learn.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
And it's all
fascinating.
magic, I mean, we got to
Yeah.
learn magic. They're using black magic. We got to learn to use white magic. I
White
mean,
magic. Absolutely.
it won't be through religions. And they're actually poo-pooing everything, some of the religious, that all magic is evil. No, it's not. I mean, you're cooking in your kitchen, you're putting herbs together. That's magic.
Right.
You know,
Right.
people say that. I said, well, you cook, don't you? That's magic. You're stirring things up and you're creating.
Well,
So, yeah.
because if everybody was doing what we're supposed to do, which is to be creators, you can't control creators, So that's where hopefully, we're all starting to move into and be, embrace the sovereignness that we all have and your work is so important because within this body, there's so much that, we don't, I look at people that are sick all the time, or even the way they're being, the treatments, it's so detached, like you're
Yeah.
detached from where you need to be. And I guess in your language, you'd say that there's an imbalance in the chakras or the energy that's flowing, but there's such a detachment that we've come to find as normal. And, the way we're supposed to, with through allopathic medicine and that kind of thing. And really, it's about that empowerment that we're supposed to like. We have the ability. It's just we just don't have we haven't read the manual is kind of how I would say it.
Yeah, well, we're all walking autobiographies of our life experiences.
Yeah,
So what better book to read than yourself? And that's
yeah,
on my online program. It's called Body Awakening Method, and it's bam, wake up. And it's taking you through the chakra system, but it's a life review, like a whole timeline. What happened right from birth to now, and what did you like about your parents? What didn't you? If you don't like it, it's living in you. And how many lovers have you had? Write that all out and burn it, and where you felt shame, and what did you like to eat as a child? How many jobs have you had? So you have a whole outline of your autobiography of your life, but it stirs up the cellular memory. You have to remember, a lot of people find it very hard to do because they don't
I
want to look
bet.
at their life.
I bet
They don't
it's
want to
very
look at
triggering.
themselves.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you
And
can't.
also, what were you going through? What were you when you had your first child, your second child? What marriages? What did you learn? Find the diamonds in the dog shit. So we
Yep.
always stir it up. And what did you learn from it? One thing I learned from working in a drugstore was Someone's phoning me. Oh, there we go. I think it's a check-in. Someone's checking in today. Yeah, it was confidentiality, because all the I lived in a town of 5,000 people, and all the young boys were coming. I was 15. All the guys were coming in to buy condoms, right? And so I knew all the girlfriends, so I had to, learn confidentiality.
Oh,
So
that's
these are
great.
things. Why did your soul take you on this journey, and what kind of things did you pick up along the way?
Yeah.
So, everything, every job we've ever had, our soul has brought us to this point, to where we're going in the future. And so it's like a life review. Don't wait till the pearly gates, and do it now. And then you can put it on the shelf, and you either have an outline for your children or grandchildren. You can flesh it out, and it's telling your own story, really.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, it's whatever's happened, right? And based on a book I got my mom called Once Upon a Memory. And when she was in a nursing home and she wouldn't eat, we always knew to give her a banana, because she'd eat bananas. But then I looked it through this book that I'd given her when I was cleaning out the house after they passed. And here it said her favorite fruit was bananas. So
Really?
then I thought, what if we do that through psychosomatic therapy, and take people through each one of the chakras and give them all their corrections too? What can you do to change this? And then I add bedroom yoga on there with one exercise a week to add to a routine before you get out of bed. So you're really finding that deep connection early in the morning within ourselves. And you only have to do it half a minute if you want, but it's the consistency, not how long you're doing it. It's the frequency that you're doing it every day, is saying good morning to your body. And a lot of people jump in the shower and rub their whole to-do list all over themselves, because they're thinking they're not connecting with their physical body, right?
Yeah.
So smearing cream on with, damn it, I've got to go do this and this and this, and you're rubbing that all over your body. Rub beautiful thoughts all over your body, and your body wants your touch, nobody else's. It's not, people think they want to be touched by someone else, but why can't you deeply touch yourself?
Right.
Right. And really connect with every part. And when you really acknowledge your hands for a whole day, when's the last time you looked at your hands and understood it for the whole day? And different things that have happened, people have broken a thumb, and what does it mean? It's all our will has been broken. This is our will. I will do it. Thumbs up. Yes, I'll do it.
Carole. Really?
Yeah, and that's the base to all body language. So it's way beyond just gestures.
Yeah.
It's what is the body telling us through the shape of it also. That's the base to it. And then you can read all body language. I can tell if someone's, even maybe having problems in their relationship. They'll often wiggle their ring on their ring finger. And this is throat chakra. I says, if your wedding ring is too tight, either get it sized or get a good divorce lawyer, because it's choking you off in the throat chakra. This is throat chakra.
Really?
And this is self-expression. Yeah. Self-expression, financial success, and ambition. So these are intellect and ambition. Is the ambition finger, where this is quickness of speech, diplomatic speech, and this is vivaciousness. So you can tell everything about just certain fingers. This one, spirituality, happiness in the material world. This is pride, self-pride, to be proud of who you are. This is, the middle one is, and then wisdom is the bottom one. This is dignity, sorry.
So
Pride,
what does that
dignity,
all mean? Like,
wisdom.
is it when you touch those areas, you're stimulating or you're awakening?
Well, a lot of people, if they don't financial success, it might be very flat in here, or the knuckle could be blocking it. If someone's got a lot of tension in knuckles, the energy isn't flowing. If you see someone that's very clairvoyant, and then you've got like a very vivacious speaker, let's say like the dramatic preachers or something, I'll heal you, and they throw energy. But a clairvoyant person, if you use your hands a lot and you're painting a picture, they can actually see energy coming out of the hands, right? This is an energy
Wow.
flow. And so we want to see where the energy maybe isn't flowing, right? And so, yeah, everything, you know, you can tell everything. These are all thoughts, right? This is connected to mental. This is body,
Okay.
because this is heart chakra. This is the body. And the feet, the toes are mental. Look how small they are compared to the rest of the foot. That's grounding. That's the rest of the body, right?
Yeah.
So these are, you know, this is point of balance. You know, if the palm is longer than, this is another thing about Trump. He has very long palms, big hands, and shorter fingers. Tells me he's highly intuitive. That's really, I can tell so much about him through his, you know, his body because of that intuition that he shows.
Wow.
And yeah, but he's very careful with his words. He purses his words, you know, I think for years. And, you know, or he articulates
It's even
with
in his
mouth.
mouth
Like this.
shape,
Yeah,
right? You could see
yeah,
it in his mouth shape. Wow. Oh my God, this has been now you're going to be at the Quantum Summit, correct?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
that
really
is something to
excited.
look forward to for people to be able to come and learn even more. Well, I can't thank you enough. If so, I'm going to have in the description below, we're going to have all the
Mhm.
information for people to be able to get in touch with you through your website. And if they want to come down to Costa Rica, which sounds great, especially right now, if anybody's in, you know, the northern part of the country with the snow and the cold weather, that would certainly be a great time to go. Um, and yeah, again, thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in today. And I'll see you in March, Carole.
Absolutely.
All right. You take care.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, Elisa V here. We all know that legal matters can be costly and stressful. Finding the right representation and dealing with high retainers and hourly bills adds up fast. But what if I told you there's a way to have legal insurance just like your health or car insurance? Legal Shield has leveled the playing field. From just $29.95 a month, you get access to lawyers for personal legal matters. From traffic tickets to real estate issues or trust matters, help is just a tap away on your phone. Call or text 516-493-1742 and use code Elisa Legal to start your journey to legal protection today.
Welcome to CarminesGold.com. Don't waste not even a second looking. Cheaper prices just don't exist. How important is it for you to own gold and silver right now? What does it mean to me we live in? The price manipulation that has occurred over the last 150 years is about to come to a full stop as we move into an extremely different world. And the true value of gold and silver is going to shine like never before. The people who vividly see what's happening have moved into panic buying right now. The people who get it, who are positioned for wealth preservation, who are accumulating every week, every month, stand to change their course of history for 100 generations to come. Buying gold and silver from CarminesGold.com at unbeatable prices is the best decision you'll ever make. I'm going to end by saying this. This is my opinion and not financial advice. This crash is knocking on the door, and it's clear. It's here. We can fill any size order, $500, $500,000, and yes, even $10 million. Your best option to preserve wealth, if you don't understand cryptocurrency, is gold and silver. Do it now.